think I messaged you. I sent you an email and I was like, I want to move out there.
And you said you're moving.
I'm moving. Yeah. I'm moving out there. And I think I'm going to have to quit my job though to do this. I was like, I'm going to have to quit my job. And then I think you had responded like, does that feel like the most supportive thing for you to do? And I was like, well, hell no.
No.
Quit my
I'd rather have my
go
job.
live in the country and then try and find a job there.
Nah.
Really supportive. But I was like, but I'm coming there.
Welcome
to another episode
of Driving To The Rez.
with
your favorite hosts,
Larry.
Inelia. And today we have
Ashley.
Yay! Welcome, Ashley. Today we're doing a Ask Me Anything with Ashley Swail, one of our expert panelists for second hour.
Hi, guys.
And beyond.
Hello.
Also the hostess.
Oh, yes. You're also the hostess.
The hostess with the mostest.
You're the
I
hostess
don't know
with
what
the
the right
mostest.
word is, but that's the word
Something
I grew
like
up
that.
with.
Yeah. So we're going to start with question number one.
Question
All right,
one.
let's do it.
Tell us who you are, a short intro, so that people know who we're talking to.
Who am I?
Oh my
Yes.
God, that
You
sounds
think I
like a
would've
short
prepared?
question.
You think I would have prepared, but I was like, nah, we're talking about me. What do I need to prepare for?
I could talk about me all day long.
So there you go. Let's see. I'm Ash, and I'm a yoga teacher. I'm a mystic. I'm a co-founder of Benz Academy. I'm basically telling you the intro to
Good.
the second hour.
That's a good start.
I'm an
That's good
Benz
warm up.
method mentor, and I'm also a professional HR individual. So I manage hiring and that whole corporate side of HR. And I think that we're going to leave it at that for now.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to start with some icebreakers questions.
Great.
The first question is, what book has had the most impact in your life?
So I'm going to follow my buddy Ileana in this one because it's definitely Interview with an Angel. I've read it probably more than any other book. And every time I read it, I just have like complete mind blown. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? What? And then how did I not read that before? And then my whole life like changes for the better. And so I couldn't pinpoint it to one particular part. I just say it's the whole book.
That book is amazing, right? I mean, truly. You read it once, then you read it again, and you can do that 10 times and you get different things.
And then you get to hang out with angels the entire time you're reading it and even
do.
after. And like, it doesn't get better than that. Like, who doesn't enjoy hanging out with angels?
I know you said that you couldn't quite pinpoint the part, but if you thought, this is the bit I'm going to share with, somebody that has never read it, what would it be?
Well, the part that always comes out to me, I think that made my brain kind of ooze out my ear a little bit.
Okie out of my ear. Is not a horror book.
That part for me was when you're talking about, it's later in the book, but you're talking about how we are human technology. So like we as human beings are technology in this matrix of this experience of reality that we're having. And those aren't exactly your words, of course, but once I like put the dots together, like, oh my gosh, we're technology. So I have like Prime Directive, I have programs that are running. And I've done the Decoding the Matrix class, but I always took it as like a metaphor, like you're like, a computer system has software and it has programs running but I never like personalized it until I read that book. And then I was like, well, maybe like the 5th or 6th time reading that book, and then I was like, wait a minute, I'm technology, and it's not just about me. I'm like human collective technology that we decided to be here now in the universe doing what we're doing, and I'm like running on those programs to do those things. I'm like, whoa. See, like, so my brain, maybe instead of oozing, we could say melted out of my ears.
That's brilliant. All right, so this time we're going to ask you, what about a book that wasn't written by Inelia Benz that had an impact in your life?
Yes. Okay, that book would be, it's called Daughter of the Forest. I think the author's name's Juliette Marilliere. And it's definitely light dark. So if you go read it, warning, it is light dark. There's gruesome things in it. But shockingly, it's about a druid girl who comes from a lineage of midwives, and it's like her process and like basically overcoming life challenges in light dark paradigm, and then coming into her power as a woman, as a midwife, as a druid. And then it's a huge series called the Seven Waters series, and she just keeps adding more books, and it's like the
So
next
it goes and goes and
generation
goes.
each time. It's like, oh, her daughter, and then her daughter, and so it's cool. But there's bits
Dark,
it's a bit dark,
yeah.
But in general, I really loved the druid and midwife and the whole Celtic side of it.
And you're wearing green, and you're surrounded by ferns, and you got red hair.
And I got I brought my red hair today, so yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the movie. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, okay.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I have to think about this.
Has blue people in it?
Oh no, it is. Yeah, you're talking about Avatar. It's a really good one, but I would say. Can I say more than one?
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes. Let's go
So
with
the first one would be City of Angels, which Angels again, right?
Oh,
It's just so nice. I mean, the worst ending, but like
I know, it had
so,
the worst ending.
the whole like just the way the angels operated around the city and being with people, and it's just I loved it. And then the next one, which is probably more true just in general, would be what is it called?
What's it about?
It's the witches, the sister witches.
Oh, Practical
Magic.
Magic. Oh my
yeah.
god, I love that movie.
Because that one you can just watch anytime, and it's just
yeah,
and it's witchy and fun.
and
I
it has
like
a lot of wisdoms in there too.
It does.
Yeah,
I know.
like true for reals.
It's funny too, because that also actually this last time I watched it was like maybe a couple weeks ago, and there's a scene where the aunties who are like super knowledgeable, like the wise women, they're like leave a note. They're like, clean up your own mess. We'll be back soon.
I love that.
You know, and then like they had to figure it out. It was like, grow up.
They did.
You know, it's like we've offered you all the information, all the tools.
All the
You didn't
time.
listen to us. You did what you wanted, so clean it up.
Yeah.
And I loved that scene.
Yeah.
And then when all the women come together, yeah.
That's
great.
really brilliant
Mhm.
movie. Thank you.
Those are good movies.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask the next one, honey?
Sure. Where were you born?
I was born in a very small town it's called Alliston, Ontario, Canada.
Ontario.
Ontario. Yeah.
Wow.
We were in like the snow belt, I think is what they call it. And we had like
Snow
a
belt?
potato festival every year. So it's pretty I thought it was a really small town, and then I moved out here and realized
It's
that
a
this is
big
a
town.
much smaller town.
Was it like a small town like Port Angeles size or
Smaller.
smaller?
Probably more like Forks, maybe something like that.
okay.
Yeah.
That counts as small.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
counts
small.
as small.
But it's not like CQ, Column Bay,
So,
Bay small.
Ontario, where you're talking about, is that like igloos and polar bears, Canada?
No, it's like lots of lakes,
Lakes,
forest.
forests.
Yeah.
Nice.
Greenery. Yeah. More like that. A lot of farming where I grew up though, so it's more like
Farms in the forest on the
fields,
lakes and
yeah.
fields.
Yep.
That sounds pretty cool.
yeah.
So what was it like growing up a Canadian in the fields and
Tell
the
us
forests?
about your mom and dad. And
And
do you have
Yeah,
brothers and
sisters and
sisters?
brothers. What was it
yeah,
like?
I'm the second youngest of 5 kids, but I'm the youngest girl. So I always think I was kind of like more like the youngest in a way, not completely because I was a daddy's girl. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And growing up in Alliston and in Canada at the time, we definitely had snow days and ice days where literally it was like you couldn't drive because everything was frozen over, and we just put on
For
our
real snow days.
snowsuit and just go slide down the road.
Yeah.
Or we would make igloos. There was these like recycle boxes, these blue boxes, you know, and we fill them up with the snow, and then they'd freeze overnight, and might have not even taken overnight, and then we'd build igloos out of them. I don't think we ever fully completed an igloo because it gets a little technical at the top.
Yeah.
But you know,
At the top.
it was like enough to keep our
Some
attention.
walls.
wall. Little wall.
Yeah, just
And
like
maybe
an
put a
igloo
coat over the
wall.
top.
You could throw some
Maybe a blanket or
snowballs.
something.
Yeah, yeah.
So you
I
did
had
have igloos. That's kind of cool.
yeah. I remember seeing Northern Lights when I was a kid. Yeah. that's pretty cool. But then we moved to Arizona in the United States.
Shock.
What?
Completely
Wow,
different.
that is so different.
Yeah.
Like
How in the
opposites.
world do you get from
No.
icebergs to Arizona,
Yeah.
cactuses and sand?
Well, so my
Canyons.
parents wanted to kind of like start fresh. My dad basically had like shut down the business he was doing, which was headhunting. So there's like this recruiter.
Oh, it's a
Sounds-
family
it's a
thing.
family-
Apparently,
the
and I
family.
stumbled into recruiting. It was never intentional, but
Of course not.
yeah,
No
apple falls
unconscious
doesn't
program.
fall
Not
far
just
from the
programs at
tree.
all.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to be successful and have lots of money.
Yeah.
And,
Be like my dad,
Be like my dad.
but no,
Yeah.
but I don't
my
want to do what
dad,
he did.
No.
Exactly. So basically when that was going on, my dad had friends who lived in Phoenix and said the economy's booming here, there's lots of work and it's like affordable, and so it was that or Alabama, because my mom had gone to Alabama when she was a young hippie.
Yeah.
And I think maybe went to a commune or a few and thought it was kind of cool, but I was grateful that they chose Phoenix because it was just maybe more my speed.
I think it's
Yeah.
about way less humid too. I went to Alabama before.
Yeah.
The
Do you have
climate was
any
be a pretty shock.
sisters
Yeah.
called like Star, Flower?
No. No, I think everybody in my family has like biblical names for the most part,
Okay.
except for me.
Yeah.
Leah, Amy, they were more from the Bible.
Yeah.
Ashley and my
It's a
middle
tree.
name, it's a tree, yeah. But that came from a soap opera.
Oh,
And same with my middle name, Nicole. So I was like,
Nicole.
yeah, that happened. There was also a little bit of maybe like foreshadowing.
Soap opera. I love it.
Yeah. Right.
All
Well,
right. So
Oh yeah, I guess born
yeah.
and then Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm so curious
what
about
was
Arizona. I mean,
Arizona was like for you all.
the shock of the difference.
It-
How did you react to
Oh,
that?
it was so different and
Did
culturally.
you move there in the summer or the winter? Because I think it does get cold in the winter sometimes.
I
in
think
some of
it
that
was
places.
the summer because it was
Oh,
between
man.
like school year,
Mm.
you know. And I remember there being monsoons, and we were like,
What
"What's
the-
happening?" You know, like totally freaked out.
I didn't know they had
Um,
monsoons.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, it was totally different because I grew up in this area where the kids, it was like masses of kids, like 20, 30 kids in the neighborhood. You just go outside and then
Come
come
back
home
at
when
night.
it was dark, you know? And you knew all the neighbors, and like it was just constantly we're playing and building and doing things. And then I moved to Arizona and it was like crickets. It was like, where are all the kids? Where are all the people? Like it was
Wow.
just like, you know, hot concrete and, you know, 100 and something degree weather. So no one wants to go outside.
No. Yeah.
So that was very different.
yeah.
Did you find
yeah.
the mall?
Yes.
I think that's where the air conditioner is.
Yes, actually. And people do mall walking. Like,
They do.
I think so.
To stay
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so there's that. And then we were like at school in winter and I've been wearing like shorts and flip flops, and everyone kept being like, "Aren't you cold?" And I'm like, "No."
No.
That's hilarious.
It is, yeah. All right. So, where did you go to school and what did you graduate in?
I went to school at Arizona State University and I
But
graduated.
before we get to college, where'd you graduate high school?
Mountain Point High School.
Is that Arizona?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
It's in Phoenix. It's an area called Awatuki, and it's a suburb of Phoenix.
Awatuki is a cool
Awatuki.
name.
That's
It
a
is a
good
cool
name,
name.
it
I
is.
couldn't spell it for you.
It's on your diploma though.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah. And so yeah, it was in Awatuki, and then I went to Arizona State University. First I went to community college,
Mm-hmm.
and then I like dropped that for a while and was just working because I was like, oh, I can make money. Like, why do I need school? And then I was working, and I had asked for a raise because all my coworkers were making more money than me, and it was like an HR recruiting role at a recruiting agency. And they said to me, "Well, you don't have a degree, so we aren't gonna pay you as much because they all have degrees." And then I was like, "Oh well, I'm going back
I'll
to
fix
school."
that.
So I did. Yeah, so I went back to school. I was like, no one's ever going to tell me they're not going to pay me as much because I don't have a degree. I'm getting a degree. And it's a good investment. Yeah, I think it helped make my career possible. But my degree's in psychology.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bachelor's, and my minor was in religious studies.
And do you find that you're actually working your degree as in, something that you qualified to do?
Well, I mean, I work with people all day and I interview people and like kind of there is like, and then also looking at the dynamics of like a team and like what type of personalities or soft skills or hard skills are going to support that. So it is.
Yes, I think.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh.
When you said religious studies, what religion?
Or
what religions do you study with the religious studies?
I grew up Christian, so I predominantly wanted to look like across the other side of the world into Eastern religions, and so mostly I did a emphasis on Buddhism. Yeah, but I was just fascinated with it, and I liked it, and I liked Buddha, so there you
works.
It worked out.
Yeah.
After college, did you go straight into the workforce in HR, or did you do other things?
Well, I had been working for a city, it was the city of Chandler, and I was in their parks and recreation for years. So I did lifeguarding, and because I was a swimmer growing up, and so I did lifeguarding and taught swim lessons. So when I graduated, I was still working for them, and I got a full-time role because I had a degree.
And your raise.
And a raise.
I was going to ask if you go back and get your raise.
So I moved out of recruiting in HR at that point, but it was my first role really managing people, and so I was still like doing interviewing and learning how to navigate that process, and so I felt like I still got like the HR kind of training around it. Yeah.
Cool. Nice. All right, let's go forward to closer to today.
Okay.
Are you married? Do you have kids? Who do you live with?
I'm not married. I do not have human kids, but I have fur babies.
You have fur babies.
Someone asked me,
fur babies.
do you want human children?
Human children someday?
I was like, yeah, I want human kids. I think they're great too. It's just mine have fur right now and 4 legs and tails.
That's
so
brilliant.
I have 2 dogs and I have a cat.
Nice.
And then I live with a good friend of mine. Her name's Martha. And she's a member of Walk With Me now. And
she's a roomie then.
She's my roomie.
Nice.
Yeah, we're housemates.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have plans to get married? Kids
well, I would like to. Yeah, I want to get married. And I
okay,
want to
lads.
have kids. Yeah.
Lads.
Yeah. I want to, but I don't actually have plans with a person at this point in time. Right now, it's more the idea of it that I would like to get married and have kids. Yeah.
That's cool. You know where to find us.
I had this feeling today that it was going to be some type of like hookup situation happening.
You know.
I mean, I'm not against it.
You're not against being interesting.
Interesting.
If you're listening to this podcast,
men who want to get married and have kids.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. This is the best place.
Interesting people.
Place.
Yeah.
Talking about waking up.
Yes.
Good question.
She didn't actually say a question. Just
no,
say
He knows it.
I can just taste this one coming.
Yeah.
When did you wake up? And did it change your life path?
Yeah.
Do you remember the actual moment of waking up?
I don't think I can pinpoint it to a moment. I remember when I was a little kid, there was this moment where I was like sitting on the couch and I was looking at my hands, and then my hands, I could make them go really big and then really small. And I was like, whoa, that's freaking cool. Like, you know, and then I remember running to tell my mom, and she was just kind of like, I don't even know if she even said anything to me. And it always stuck with me, and I remember it so vividly because it was like this feeling like, whoa, everything is like malleable. It's not like concrete. And then I got older, and it like definitely
got
my
concrete.
hands don't do that anymore.
Right, right.
And it's much more concrete feeling. But I would say then, like in like my adult awareness, it was more so the funny enough, because I'm also a yoga teacher, my mom started taking yoga classes, and it was kind of like a gateway because then her yoga teacher also did Reiki, so then she started doing Reiki, and then she was like, Wes, which is my husband's name, she's like, we're gonna do this training, and it was this dolphin energy healing.
Dolphin healing
energy healing by this gal who lives in Sedona, and
they got dolphins in Sedona.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
It's
like, what?
they're everywhere.
Okay,
Don't
they're
worry.
everywhere.
All right.
So anyway, so he's like, we're going, and the kids are all invited to come, and we're gonna pay for it, and we're gonna make it available. And it was like this 6 month, or it was longer than 6 months, but there was 6 weekends,
Wow.
and it was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like training, and it was basically like, I would say like a course in awakening, because it was the first time I really like moved into like meditation in a conscious way, or started to look at like just the nature of reality beyond just my own curiosities. So I think and then I was also like 19 years old, and most of the people were like my age now or older. And so there was like a lot of really like cool insights and things, learning from them, and crystals and dolphins and energy healing.
There was dolphins, but there was no water, no dolphins.
No,
Were you
they
disappointed
do have
at
those.
first? I mean, show up to dolphin. If I was going to dolphin healing and there's no water, dolphins.
I know,
I mean,
right?
I can go with the energetic dolphins. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I would be like,
They do have
crystal
they did
dolphins,
have, like,
anyways?
things like that, but like where you could go, I think on, I don't know if it was cruises or retreats.
yeah, you
and
can
stuff,
yeah.
but
swim with
that
the
wasn't.
dolphins.
We went to
whatever.
Sedona and Phoenix, so there wasn't that. And I just don't think I knew of any different. So I was like
You're
very
fine with it?
happy with it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I definitely felt the dolphin connection. Like there's like a dolphin consciousness. You tap into the collective, right? And then that's what it's about. So that even right there was pretty like far out, but it was cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, I mean, I think you probably could talk about that for a few hours, because it sounds like 6 weeks of dolphin healing with crystals, and I mean, more please.
Yeah, right.
Channeling energy and the dolphin consciousness. And were those the dolphins like in what's that book, the one, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Thanks for all the fish ones. Did you tap into that?
Goodbye, and thanks for all the fish.
Yeah,
Thanks for all the fish.
maybe. I don't know.
Might have-
To the whales and the dolphins left.
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
know.
the dolphins
Just
and the whales
before
left
the
before
planet
the
got blown up.
Oh, wow, really?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You haven't seen that one, I guess.
Oh my gosh, that's
I
a
You
great
probably
book.
have to watch it.
I think I've seen parts of it.
It's a bit dorky.
The book is
like,
better.
Either
lost my
hate it or love
attention,
it.
so.
Yeah.
It's very British.
Yeah.
It has a intense British humor that
Yeah.
you miss most of it if you don't understand that.
Yeah.
So
So it went over
yeah.
my head. Although, because I'm Canadian, I find sometimes I catch those things.
Yeah,
but
you
other
do.
times,
That's right. Yeah.
Are you
It's
still
like
Canadian?
I kind
I
of
don't
toss
know.
You
back
count
It's
as
and
like
Canadian,
you
or
do
you're not
back and
Canadian,
forth
or
because
what
I
is
don't
the
know. I
deal
never
with
think
the-
of you
I'm
as
more
Canadian.
American.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
Yeah, I think I'm more American.
How
at
old
this
were you
point.
exactly when you moved over?
Just about 10 years old.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And you know, now
All
that
your
I'm
formative
20,
years.
it's like...
Exactly. Now that she's 20.
20.
Yeah,
Been here a whole 10 years.
yeah, I've been here a whole 10 years.
I love it. And now the big question. How did you end up here sitting with this Ask Me Anything with Larry and Inelia?
Yeah.
I mean,
You were in Arizona, you had this job, or you weren't in
No,
Arizona?
I wasn't.
You
So
moved?
I think it was totally a human collective, like orchestration, right?
Mhm.
well, take me where you were before you came here. then,
Yes.
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
First,
I'll take
first.
you.
So you
there's
were
a
in
whole
Arizona
story
last
to
It's a whole
it.
story.
There's
Okay,
a
let's
whole
Last
do
I heard
the
you were in Arizona working for the
Yes.
Parks and Recreational,
Mhm.
not being a lifeguard anymore, and got
Right.
your raise.
Yes.
Yes.
So then
Yeah.
where'd you go?
And then
So
what
then,
happened?
at that job, I met my
Mhm.
then fiance,
Mhm.
and I was just constantly. I was always going up north, like to Sedona or Flagstaff or somewhere in northern Arizona, to get out of the heat and get into the green, and it's kind of like more brownish green, but you know, it was better than
I don't know.
desert.
I thought Arizona was all the same.
It's
No,
not
it's different. yeah.
But then I really wanted to leave the Valley of Phoenix, and so we ended up moving to Denver, Colorado, which was like a compromise between us. There was like a list, and Pacific
Still kinda
Northwest
dry,
was
but
on my
still, yeah.
list,
Mm.
but I had never been. I just knew I really wanted to go there, and like I'd seen photos, and and maybe because I read Twilight, but I really don't think that's why.
Oh.
But some reason I really
Not
wanted.
that, but
I really
Twilight
wanted to
have
be in
Arizona
the
or
Pacific.
Colorado?
No,
no,
it's
she's talking
here.
about Northwest. She
Oh,
wanted
you
Northwest. It
wanted
was
to
in her
move
list.
To Forks, but not because of the vampires.
Not because of that, but somehow for
Maybe
some
the
reason I just really wanted to be. Yeah, maybe yeah, probably the werewolves.
The werewolves, most
werewolves,
likely.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the
Probably
werewolves.
Team Jacob.
Team Jacob.
Yes.
Yeah. There's unconscious programming for sure, or maybe conscious. So then we were in Colorado, and it was just never felt like home, and it was really dry, disappointingly.
And the altitude too. If you went
Is it
Arizona,
There's altitude. Yeah, it's
to
like
Denver.
5,000
It's really
feet
dry
up there, and it's dry desert or high desert, and so it's super dry, drier than Arizona. And I was like, I thought I was moving to like where a place that would have like water and green trees.
You have to go to the water parks.
Yeah.
With
Oh, boy.
Denver. You go
Yeah.
to the water parks.
So I was there for about 3 years, and then I was always like this like kind of weekend awake kind of person, meaning I would like wake up on the weekend and do some meditations, or do maybe like read some of your articles, or read your books, or do a class on something. And then during the week I go back to sleep and go to work and do all my things, you know. And so I finally was like, all right, this year, this is it. I'm done. I'm just gonna like, this is gonna be me full on. I'm committed, right? And it might have been maybe one of your articles or something that spurred it. I don't actually remember, but there was something like that had kind of triggered me that this year, and it was like in a January, so it was New Year. And so part of that was to do the Ascension 101 class.
Boy, oh boy.
Oh,
I know about that one.
you know.
I can't-
So I was doing the
Even-
Ascension 101 class.
Even as that class was coming down,
Yeah.
I was going,
It changed your life too, huh, honey?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It just, everything changed. And so I started that in January, and I had like developed a daily practice, and I was doing, I think, the silencing the mind like was part of my daily practice. And then you became like kind of my best friend in my mind, in the sense of I always had your work playing in the background as much as possible, because I was trying to keep in my awareness and not go to sleep.
It's really easy to go back to sleep,
It's
isn't it?
so easy,
So
and I kept
easy.
waking up, going to sleep, waking up, going
Yeah.
to sleep. And so I really wanted to stay awake.
Mm-hmm.
So I just would play like your classes, or read your books, or like just whatever I could. And wasn't always even listening, but it was just the frequency
Yeah.
that I was mapping to.
Yeah. I've done that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I remember a few weeks ago, my phone started playing something random. And I was like, oh yeah, I really dig what she's saying. I wonder who that is. I need to look her up, man. That really makes sense.
It was your own stuff?
It was my own
That's awesome. Well, your accent used to be a lot thicker, so maybe that's why.
I think I had a cold or something, so the
Sure.
recording wasn't quite. And
Yeah.
you don't hear yourself
Yeah.
the same as when you hear a recording,
True.
right? So, but
True.
yeah, that actually works.
Yeah.
It does. Or music too, right?
Yeah.
You can play the music in the background and keep you awake for the day.
Oh, yeah. And I was doing a lot of teaching yoga in Denver. And
Mhm.
so then I had a lot of like kind of that kirtan chanting music
Oh,
playing
nice.
too.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
love that as well. So yeah, so then I did Ascension 101, and then I finally decided to join Walk With Me Now. And ironically, you know, before I kept saying it was too much money. It was like $77 a month, and I was like, that's just so expensive. And then I wanted to join, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and it was 120. I was like, oh, but like I was like, all right, it's happening. It doesn't matter. And
Yeah.
I was like, I just need to do it, and just put it in my budget, and just this is an essential function in my life, you know. So I committed, and I did that. And then like a few months later, you were offering a retreat at the Shaman Shack. And I was like, oh, yeah. Okay, cool. I'm definitely going. And funny, I had exactly the amount of money in my savings. It was like the money I had was to fly out here to do the retreat, and I was covered. And I was like, oh my
Nice.
gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It is. Remember, we had exactly that much in the bank to buy the Shaman Shack.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
This-
true. Yeah.
And I was a little like, should I not? Maybe I
I
should
know.
just save this money. And I was
Yeah,
like, just go,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So it was definitely well worth it. And I went, and
Then you went to Forks, didn't you?
I didn't go to Forks.
You didn't go down to Forks to see
Went
if
to
there was,
Forks.
or La
No.
Push.
No, I
La
don't even know if
Push.
we came to Niabe. Did we go to? Yeah, we did.
We did,
We
yeah.
went to
Yeah.
Niabe.
Yeah.
And so yeah, from there I just I came back home, and my partner and I split. And then I think I messaged you. I sent you an
Mhm.
email, and I was like, I want to move out there.
And you said you're
doing it. I'm
moving.
I'm moving. Yeah, I'm moving out there, and I think I'm gonna have to quit my job though to do this. I was like, I'm going to have to quit my job. And then I think you had responded like, does that feel like the most supportive thing for you to do? And I was like, well, hell no.
No.
Quit my
I'd
job
rather
and
have
go
my job.
live in the country and then try and find a job there.
Nah.
Really supportive. But I was like, but I'm coming there and I'm going to do mentoring with you too, by the way. It's like, will you share the intent with me? You're like, sure. Okay. I was like, oh, lovely.
I'll do that right away. Is that the most supportive thing for you right now? No.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay, I got to get my stuff together. And then it was like everything just started to fall in line. Like all of a sudden.
That was amazing. It was like,
I got this promotion at work.
Yeah.
And my income doubled like pretty much overnight. And then I started going into the office I worked from. And then because I no longer worked for that office, I was working for like the national team. They were basically like, we don't have room for you. And so I would go to my car to do interviews with candidates because I was talking about compensation and like, you know, you don't want to do that in front of, you don't want to do that in front of all the employees.
Right.
And then my boss was like, wait, you're taking interviews in your car? He's like, just work from home. I was like, okay. So I think that was like 2017, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then my job became remote. And then, my ex-fiance and I had split, and I lived in Arizona for a little while, just like in transition and trying to figure things out. And I was like, I think I started mentoring with you, and that was like my goal, was just to put down my roots and find a home. And I did explore a lot of other options. I even looked at like, maybe I'll go back east to Ontario. There's some areas around Ontario that are really beautiful. And then ultimately, though, I kept coming back here. Everything kept pointing me back here.
And I remember you described your perfect home.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but that's impossible. You know?
Yeah.
But I used to have this dream.
Yeah. When I went through, I had in university, I had created this kind of like manifestation, like, you could say vision board. It wasn't a board. It was a book, actually, like a notebook. Yeah. And so I had all these pictures of this house in there, and it was my house, like completely. Like it was the same paint color, the same trim, everything. But I didn't realize it until I had already moved in, bought my house, moved in, and then I was like, whoa. And even I had kayaks there, and there was like a river, and there's like a river by my house, and I have a kayak, and it was red. I like went back and looked at the photos, and wow, it's the same one. Yeah,
I love it.
So all of it was there. So yeah, and you guys, of course, you were helpful in that I came and stayed at the Shaman Shack for a little while, and I was working remotely, so it all was like supported financially. And then I came out one weekend, I think, before I moved here to look at houses. It was the first house I ever looked at, and then I bought it.
Right. Yeah.
That
I
was
started
cool.
Vista neighborhood.
Yeah.
You started the Vista neighborhood.
I have neighbors. Multiples.
We were at a gathering yesterday because it was Sunday, and we're all like at Ilya's house, our producer, who's amazing, and we're all at his house, and then we like leave there and we go over to Karen Fred's house, which is like next door, and then we leave there and we go to my house, and I'm like,
next door.
oh my God,
This
that's
is
so
so
cool.
cool.
Like, yeah, I'm like,
Nice.
wow, we just need to grow the neighborhood even more.
That would be great.
Yeah.
So cool.
Did I answer
good
your
job.
question?
Well done. Yes, well done.
Yes,
Good,
you
good.
did. You did. All right. So, if you could talk to yourself from 20 years ago, what would you say?
Oh,
And
Wait,
we're going to hear the answer
in the second hour.
in the second hour.
Oh, that gives you time to think about this answer.
Cool.
What are you
I
going
like
to tell
it.
yourself?
yeah.
So, how old were you? Do you mind saying?
20 years ago,
Yeah,
I was 29.
29.
Yeah.
No, you.
No,
you
wait, I was
weren't.
19.
You're not
I was
49.
19.
Oh my God, lady. She
was
is not
20.
in her 40s, guys.
I was 19.
Okay.
Yeah, 20 years
19.
ago.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
interesting if you could think
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
We'll have that in the second hour.
Yeah, I'll think
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
And,
All right, that's it.
yeah.
Did you have anything else to?
No, that's a good question to think about. I want to hear what you
Yeah.
have to say to
Me
yourself.
Yeah, there's
too.
already some things that
There's
come
some
to
things
mind.
that come to
It's more
mind.
like Bossy Boss comes out.
This.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, I think that's really cool. Did you want to say any more or tell us about an aspect of your life we haven't covered or anything like that?
No, I don't think so. Not at this point. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah. And we're also going to go deeply into your mystical
Mystical aspect.
skills in the second hour.
Yes.
Can't wait to get into that.
I know, that'll
part.
be super
Yes,
fun.
Yeah. All right, see you then.
All right.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.
Snap. And pretty soon it's going to be Ashley saying,
We're back.
"We're back.
Welcome back
Welcome back."
to the second half.
Yes.
Teaser.
Yeah.
Haha, we
Let's
tricked
see.
you.
Well, at least where do they go?
You want to go to Substack and go to Driving To The Rez.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, so substack.com, Driving To The Rez. You can hear our the second half.
The second part.
Mhm.
Yeah, the second,
the second
hour.
half.
Driving to the
Driving to the Rez.
res.com.
Oh, that.
God dang it, that's what it is.
That's what it is. So,
I made it simple and I made it complicated.
Yes, we made it super simple. Driving to the res.com.
And I'm like, go to
you can
Substack
get the second
and then
hour
look
there.
us up.
There you
Or
go.
just go to drivingtotherez.com.
Got
There you
it.
go.
We'll get it together.
Yep.
you know, we're in the woods. This is all not scripted, so, you just got to live with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I don't have a script.
Well, that's not a script, honey.
No, those are just notes.
There you go.
I didn't get a script. I didn't get a copy of those.
No, you didn't. And I write really badly, so you can't even read
Can't
it.
even I saw my name on the top. That was the only thing I could
Yeah.
make out.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
right.
Alrighty. Okay, then.
All right.
Bye.
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 We have the privilege and the honor to be able to have these amazing beings that we get to utilize in the flesh, right? And experience physicality. But at the same time, there's this bin in the light dark paradigm, this block. We know nothing about them. It's like somebody did literally just hand us a baby and we're like, what? And we're now responsible to drive this thing. What?
You get to go home and take it.
And we get to go home and take it home and what? And now I'm supposed to feed it and not having any connection. Or maybe some people have this, but my experience has been not having any connection to what really was food to eat, what really was the way I needed to move my body or to breathe.